Hello everyone, I'm Rajeshri. A very warm welcome to you all in today's episode. And a huge thanks for being with me in this experimental musical journey of mine. I have never done this before. Some of you who watch my episodes, I have never played a recording which is created or produced by another channel, especially in my narrative section. But today, I didn't know how to go about it without this music. This music is borrowed from the YouTube channel called All Classical Music. And as you all know by now, as the title suggests, we are celebrating the one and only, the great master of the classical music genre, Mozart. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Tchaikovsky once said, "I love Mozart as the musical Christ." Yes, indeed. So I was confused. To me, Mozart is like a musical sky, the biggest canopy over the planet Earth. Wherever we go, whatever we do, we could feel Mozart's presence whenever we are listening to Western classical music or playing it. Sir Solti said, a Hungarian British conductor, "Mozart makes you believe in God much more than going to church, because it cannot be by chance that such a phenomenon arrives in this world," which is absolutely true. Altogether, 750 compositions, 41 symphonies, 4 operas, 25 piano concertos, 25 string quartets, 25 piano sonatas, 10 violin concertos, 9 marches, 25 dances, 31 serenades, fugues, rondos, minuets, and many more. And this is just a quantitative measure of his creation. And most of these are masterpieces and a staple repertoire in the classical music genre. As a great author, Paul Johnson, beautifully said, "Mozart creates an apotheosis of melodies in which one tune seems to flow out of another naturally, spontaneously, organically, as though the melodic material were breathing within the tissue of the work." He was right. Mozart himself once said to his dad, quote, "Everything has been composed, but not yet written down." So actually he could see the entire composition in front of his eyes before he used to sit down with his pen and paper. 1756, 27th of January, this child prodigy was born in Salzburg. The world of science would certainly call him as a prodigy, because he didn't get enough time to learn the craft. He knew the craft. Because his first composition was at the age of So certainly he didn't get enough time to learn Western classical music completely. Famous author Don Campbell tried to investigate this, and he wrote in his book, quote, Mozart was conceived in a rare space. His prenatal existence was daily suffused in music, especially the sounds of his father's violin playing, which almost certainly enhanced his neurological development and awakened the cosmic rhythm in utero. His father was a music director in Salzburg, and he was a violinist. And his mother, the daughter of a musician, played a lifelong role in his musical education, beginning with songs and serenades during pregnancy. Because of the superior musical environment, Mozart was born already saturated in and shaped by music. Unquote. At the age of 7, Mozart went on a tour. It's a concert tour in Europe with his father and his sister. Wherever he went, he created a sensation. Homi Dastur's book on musical journey, we get to know that Princess of Prussia, George III, Queen Charlotte of Great Britain, Louis XV of France, and many other royals were very, very fond of his music. In France, he played for Empress Maria Theresa, and he played with Princess Mary Antionette. Yes. Then Mozart visited Italy with his mother, and he straight away fell in love with Italian opera. We can understand that. The masterpieces he created later in his life in terms of opera. 1778, second time Mozart visited France. It was not a very happy time for him. He lost his mother that time, and French aristocrats didn't show any enthusiasm towards his music anymore. Mozart came back to Salzburg, joined the service of Archbishop of Salzburg. But eventually he resigned because he could feel that his freedom, his artistic freedom, creative freedom was getting restricted by Archbishop. And in 1781, he became a freelance musician in Vienna, his dream job. The city very dear to his heart as well. 1782, he got married to Constance Weber. According to Don Campbell, he was unlucky in love, marrying the plain sister of the strong-willed beauty who jolted him. Even after marriage, he continued to fall in love hopelessly with his young female students, leading to tension in his marital life. 1784, a very important year in his life. Mozart met Joseph Haydn. They became really good friends. They used to perform together in many places. This friendship kind of changed the classical music as a whole. 1786, the great opera, The Marriage of Figaro, was created by Mozart. In the year 1787, he visited Prague twice. Figaro was a grand success in Prague, and then Mozart went back again, and his next opera, Don Giovanni, was premiered there. And that very year he composed Ein Klein Noch music, one of my favorites. That's why I had to start this episode with that particular musical score. But Mozart's financial condition kept on getting worse. There was never enough money to pay for the growing family. He used to spend a lot of money on his wigs and clothes because he was very conscious about his personal appearance, and he was just 5 feet 4 inches tall, and his face was scarred by pox marks which he got in his childhood. 1791, 30th of September, his last opera, The Magic Flute, was premiered in Vienna, and again it was a huge success. 1791, after the premiere of Magic Flute, Mozart's health started deteriorating very rapidly. His kidneys started failing. He suffered from depression, hypertension. On December the 4th, 1791, Mozart lost his consciousness, and he died the following day. It was mentioned in Homi Dastur's book that on the day of his death, a terrible storm raged, and as a result, his wife was too grief-stricken to attend the funeral, and as none of his friends were inclined to face the bitter cold outside, so only the undertaker and his men were present at Mozart's burial. He was placed in a pauper's grave. No one cared to note the exact spot where he was buried. And today, the fine marble monument in St. Mark's Cemetery in Vienna, which portray the memory of his genius, admired by the musical world, stands over an empty grave. So, Mozart took his last breath on 5th of December 1791, but he had already handed the magic flute to the humankind, to the human race, sorry. And I genuinely feel Mozart himself was the magic flute. Though he took his last breath, he actually made all of us breathe music since then. And that music actually resonates within us. We don't listen to Mozart music. His music synchronizes with our heartbeats. Again, quoting Don Campbell, no matter how absurd and tragic his life and his death at the age of only 35, The channel to celestial harmony was never interrupted. He could write the most transparent, sweet and loving melodies in the midst of most gruesome personal circumstances. Uncut. Beethoven wrote for humanity. Mozart wrote for people. People like all of us, the tradesman and the aristocrats. I used a lot of references in this episode because the great authors have been researching Mozart for years together. I don't think I have got that depth of knowledge. So I thought, to enrich all of us, this is the best way to go forward. But if you ask me what is my personal opinion about this great master, I feel music and Mozart are synonymous. And according to me, when I hear a sound of a song by a lonely bird, that is Mozart to me. When an old couple holding each other's hand, climbing down a hilly road with an unstable gait and whispering to each other that we can do it because we are together, that whispering sound is Mozart to me. When a group of dolphins put on a synchronized dance in the vast blue ocean, that moment is Mozart to me. Again, when I think of a war zone, the sounds of the footsteps of the frontline soldiers who are ready to sacrifice their lives for their motherland, that sounds of the march is Mozart to me. Simultaneously, their lonely wives who are sitting at home thinking about their beloved, they could actually transform their fear into pride through Mozart music. I believe so. And lastly, when I try to visualize a bunch of rhododendron on the top of the Himalayan range of mountains where the weather is very harsh, snow, sleets, cold, but still they are trying to blossom. Still they are managing to survive against all odds. Their inner strength and beauty is Mozart's music to me. And keeping all that in mind, I have tried to compose a tapestry of Mozart's life, because it has got success, personal loss, sorrow, joy, everything. And as always, my wonderful teacher, a fine pianist, Mr. James Billingham, helped me a lot to compose this little piece. But as a blueprint, I have shared Mozart's Jam and Dance, a sleigh ride. But obviously I have improvised it, changed the dynamics, added new melodic phrases which I have composed, ornamentation, etc., etc. So I will go ahead and play it for you all. Hope we will all enjoy it together. And just before I go, because I have composed and try to make it a little original one. I thought it is important to share this piece of information which was taken from, again, Paul Johnson's book on Mozart. Mozart used to believe a great performer on an instrument had the right to contribute to the creation of performance, like a great singer in an opera. So every concerto ought to be unique and original. Hence, all music was living to Mozart. It was never written in stone. On that note, we will go to the next section, that the musical section, and pay my tribute to the great master, the magic flute of the world of music. Thanks very much for listening. Thank you.